Welcome to our latest edition of using the CATIA software. As we have already seen, the CATIA software is one of the most important softwares in the field of mechanical engineering, and going through our previous 3 videos you might find out how the basics of the CATIA is used. As we already have seen, the software has various options that we can use, and we have been going through the basic procedure, that is through part design. In the last video we have learned how to actually use different commands that are present in the sketcher option. Today we are going to learn different commands altogether as well. As usual, after opening the part design, we will go in the sketcher. To go in the sketcher, we actually have to open one of the planes. So I will open plane YZ and I will use the position sketcher option, and clicking on OK, we will have the position sketcher option opened up for YZ plane. And now today, as we have seen the use of profile tool as well as the rectangle, today we are going to learn the different options that are available here. And as we already can see, this is the oriented rectangle option, which actually generates an oriented rectangle, as we can see. Clicking on the option, and we can get a rectangle that is 90 degree and which is tilted actually. As we know the properties of a rectangle, all the angles are 90 degree. Remember, what we have to do is we have to generate the first point and the second point, and a rectangle will be created, an oriented rectangle will be created. Just clicking here and then giving up a second point by moving the cursor of your mouse, and here we can see we have an oriented rectangle. Just trying to delete all the created objects, you have to select everything and then click on the delete option, and there it is, it will disappear on the screens. So now we have seen the use of oriented rectangle. Now we will move forward and we will have a look at the next option, that is the parallelogram. Again, we have to know the basic properties of a parallelogram. The opposite sides of quadrilateral are parallel, and of course we know that they are parallel as well as they are congruent as well. A rectangle is actually a form of parallelogram, by the way, and we simply, I will just start off from the origin, and as we can see, a parallelogram is created. We have to define 2 points, and we also can see that the sketcher tool also gets expanded. I can just simply delete by selecting everything and then pressing the delete button, and it will disappear. Again, when I click on one of the options, remember it defines in the sketcher tools where we have to give the first point, that is height, that is the horizontal point, and the vertical point, and here we can see that is the width of the parallelogram and the angle. Now the first angle, the second angle, it is important for us to define that particular geometry. If I just simply click here and I press 50 mm, and by the way the default unit is mm, and then press enter, we will have a particular parallelogram created with orientation of 50 mm. Here we can see it here, just simply clicking on the option. So now we have learned the use of rectangle as well as parallelogram, the oriented rectangle, by the way. And then there is the elongated hole option. Now the elongated hole option is also an important option. Here it is a combination of 2 semicircles and a rectangle. It is actually similar to a running track. If you have gone through the running track, and you will now see there are different geometries that are required. The H and the V positions are there. Here we can see the radius option. Radius option is actually the radius of the semicircles that is present on either side. So here if I click on the radius and say, for example, if I give radius as 50 and press the enter button, the radius will be 50. And then I have the length. The length, that is the center to center distance between the 2 semicircles. If I click the length as 100 and then press enter, and actually there is no need for us to give an angle, we can just simply have it. And then I have to just make sure that I get 2 points. As I've told you, you can simply draw it wherever you want on the working space area. I will just then have to select the axis, and here it is. We have different options that have been used, and the elongated hole is then created. As we can see here, 100 is the center to center distance, whereas 50 is the length of the radius of the two semicircles present on either side. This is one of the options, and now we can use different options altogether when we will be going for our next option. Here we can see our next option is a cylindrical elongated hole. Now, a cylindrical elongated hole is actually the same version of the elongated hole, only that it will be having a curvature in it. So these are the definitions that we require. The radius is actually the two semicircles which are present on the either side. So once again, if I click on 50, and no need for me to press the button twice, I will just simply click enter, because it is by default. And then it asks me the second radius. The second radius, now I will give it as 100 and then press enter. And as you can see, there is one more thing that's asking, that is the angle, the second degree angle. So let us take it as 50 degree, and I will click OK. So there it is. It asks me the second elongated hole, and here it is. It will actually be created in this very particular set as well. So after creation of the elongated hole, we can simply have it in a different manner altogether as well, because we have to go through a different routine as well. The third option is the keyhole profile. The keyhole profile is actually used to create a keyhole. So different options that are available for us. There are two circles as well. The length, which is the center to center distance between the two circles which are present in the keyhole, I will just give the length as 50 and then enter. And this is how we will have a keyhole being created. Now, just as smaller it will be, the more better we shall see the options. And here we can see a keyhole has been created. Here we can see there is a center to center distance, the radius of the small circle, whereas the radius of the bigger circle as well. So there are three different things that we need to keep in mind. There are the two radius and the center to center distance between those two options. And just simply selecting all and pressing the delete option. And then we can go for next option, that is the hexagon. Hexagon, remember guys, we don't have a pentagon option, but it is actually a hexagon. Hexagon which has all of its exterior angles 60 degree. This is the basic geometry that we need to learn. For pentagon it is 72 degree, hexagon is 60 degree, and so on. So we will go for, so we don't need to draw a different pentagon using or rather hexagon using the profile option. I can simply draw a hexagon using this option as well, but it will be viable for us that we create so there is a hexagon as well. It is actually not up to the profile, but it is still a hexagon. However, we simply don't have to draw it using the profile option because we have the hexagon option already present. I can just simply go to the origin, and then it is 0 0. As we can see, I will bring it out and it is 0 0. Here you can see a hexagon is created. There are two ways that the hexagon could be. The base is parallel to the h-axis, whereas the base is then perpendicular to the h-axis. So these are the two forms of hexagon. You can just simply click and then you can define the distances by using the constraints dialog box. We will learn about it later on as well, how to use the constraints dialog box. I can now simply select the entire hexagon and then click on the delete option. And then we have a last but penultimate option, by the way. It is the centered rectangle. As we have seen from the first rectangle in our video number 3, that we can create a rectangle directly by defining 2 points. However, if I want a particular rectangle at the center of a certain agreement, then I can just simply go for the centered rectangle, which actually starts from the center of the rectangle, and here it is. Here we can see a centered rectangle. It is really helpful for us if you are working on something that has to be in the center. This is the very important aspect while having this tool, that is the centered rectangle. Again, we will learn about how to use the constraint dialog box in one of our later videos as well. So you can simply focus on currently on which are the options that we are going to learn. This is another option, that is the centered parallelogram. The centered parallelogram option can actually be highlighted as well. So it can actually be selected and you can use it in different manners altogether as well. Again, we have different options available to us, so it is important that you practice all these options. Do get in touch with all our previous videos as well. These are the different options that we have learned today. Go through it, practice all in your particular CATIA softwares, and in the next video we will learn which are the different commands we can use as well. There are different number of commands that are available for us while we work in the CATIA software. We hope that you have enjoyed and you find this video really helpful. Join us again next time. Until next time, from me, it's a goodbye.